always remember to take care of your lenses. Welcome to the Visual Center. I'm Trent. In this camera care video, I'm going to share with you the best ways to take care of our camera lenses. Now, I'm sometimes surprised at how little consideration some photographers give to their lenses. All the light created in our photos is gathered and transferred through the lens. So obviously, the lens is an important part of the process. So let me show you how to best take care of yours. First, let's start with cleaning our lenses. To make this simple, I've created a 6-step process, including some tips here and there. The first step is to inspect the lens. Now take a look at the front and rear element or glass on your lens and see if there's any dust or smudges. Now it's good to avoid cleaning our lenses if there's no need. So this first step helps determine. Be sure to rotate it and flip it around. Second, blow off the dust. Now one of the greatest accessories you can purchase as a photographer is this Giotto's rocket blower. This is one of those brilliantly designed products which I can't endorse enough. Now it's just a rubber blower, but it's got a lot of air capacity, and these fins on the bottom, it can stand on its own. Now I've had a normal blower that didn't have fins, and every time I set it down on a desk or a table, it would just roll off. This one stays in one spot, whether it's on its side like this or standing up like this, and it just kind of looks cool. It's brilliant. This thing helps blow off any dust or debris that may be on our lens. And honestly, 60 to 70% of the time, this is all I need to do. Now here's a little tip. There have been times that I've been without my beloved rocket blower. I needed to use my mouth to blow off some of the dust. And I've invented, or at least I think I've invented, a unique technique. Instead of just blowing on my lens, I usually start to blow to the side of my lens and then pass the lens through the air coming out of my mouth, like this. Now I started doing this back in my film days, when I'd blow dust off my film prior to enlarging. I discovered that saliva or spit would most likely come out of my mouth, leaving a mark on my film when I started to blow, or as I stopped blowing. This technique seems to help prevent that from happening. Now, give it a try. You'll probably look as ridiculous as I do, but at least our lenses will be clean. Now, I'll put a link at the bottom of the description for this video for the rocket blower, and I highly recommend them. The third step, if our lens is still dirty, brush off the lens. Some dust won't come off with just air. Using a brush like this one may help. And this is also a precautionary step. The air blower and the brush should remove any damaging particles from the surface of our lens prior to the next step. I even go as far as turning my lens upside down and blowing and brushing. Now use a soft bristled brush. It could be a lens brush or a painter's brush, but use it only for this purpose and try not to touch the brush. Number 4 is to wipe or rub the lens clean. Now use a soft microfiber cloth or a lens cleaning cloth. Now I've got a few here. Start in the middle and work your way out towards the edge using a circular motion. Now apparently there's not a lot of information as to why we should use a circular motion. I've heard it helps move the dirt and grime to the outside edge of the lens so as to not affect the image quality, but I'm not really convinced that this is the only reason. So if you do have a good answer for this, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. Now, I do have a tip for this step. In order to better guarantee that this piece of fabric doesn't contain any hard particles which could scrape my lens, I will actually slap the fabric across the surface or just whip it in the air like this. Before I clean my lens, I hope that this will be able to shake out any potentially damaging particles so I don't scrape it as I'm rubbing. Now for a bit of controversy. As a go-between prior to the next step, if there's still smudges on my lens, sometimes I'll breathe on the glass and use the lens cleaning cloth to rub away the mark, like this. Now, why this is controversial is because apparently the acidity of human breath can damage the coatings on the glass, at least over time. I've never seen any evidence of this process damaging my lenses, but who knows? If you're shooting and you don't have the time for a proper cleaning, breathing and wiping can really help clean your lens. One last item. I sometimes use my clothing to clean my lens, and it feels great to finally admit that to someone. I try to use an inside part of my shirt or a jacket that's soft that hasn't been touching my skin, kind of like this. On to number 5, use liquid. If all of these other steps don't clean your lens, then try using some sort of lens cleaning liquid, like this one. I bought this at my local camera shop. Now, these liquids are designed to help break up oil and smudges on glass and to help prevent streaking being left behind after cleaning. Now, if you don't have access to lens cleaning solution, you could also use a clean, water moistened cotton swab. Now, something to remember is don't spray the liquid directly onto the lens. Spray a cleaning cloth or lens cloth and then wipe the lens clean with the moist cleaning cloth. You can also purchase one-time use disposable lens cleaning towelettes. These are pre-moistened with lens cleaning fluid. Just open, wipe the lens, and then throw it away. They're great to keep in a camera bag. And now the final step, number 6, protect the lens. I'm sometimes shocked at how few people actually use lens caps. I think they're pretty great. Take the time to think about it. Most seem pretty well designed, and other than losing them, they work pretty well. They protect the lens and they come off very easily. They just work, so use them. I would also recommend blowing out the lens caps because dust and dirt can also get trapped inside of caps and transfer to the lens once they're attached. Now, here's a tip. If you have multiple lenses and change them constantly during photo shoots, put a piece of white tape on the rear lens cap and write the focal length of the lens on the tape. The lens will be easier to identify during a shoot when it's in your camera bag. Now, regarding lens filters, a lot of photographers use UV or protective filters on the front of their lenses. These can help protect the front element of the lens if it were dropped. I've actually seen a couple of situations where a lens filter seemed to actually cause more damage to a lens after it was dropped. I've tended to use them less and less in my career. Now, when I worked in camera sales, I was shocked to see how many people would spend a lot of money on a lens only to purchase a cheap filter to put on the front. Lens filters will affect your image quality, some less than others. So, would I recommend using them? Yes and no. It depends on the lens and the person using the lens. Now, if I don't use a filter to protect my lens, how do I protect it? With one of these, the good old lens hood. Lens hoods help prevent light being pulled into your lens when photographing towards the general direction of a light source. But they also stick out in front of your lens like this. If I drop my lens and it hits the front element first, this should hopefully only damage my lens hood. There are a few other surfaces on our lens that may also need some cleaning. I find that dirt can collect inside the filter mounting ring and around this front element. So I use a cotton swab and some isopropyl alcohol to clean out this area, kind of like this. Now, I also use the same technique to clean the rear mounting bracket on the back of my lens, this metal ring, and especially these electrical contacts found on the rear. These contacts are how my camera and lens speak to one another. They're pretty important to keep clean. The alcohol will help cut through the dirt and grime and is safe to use on electronics. All right, that's it for this video. Remember, keeping our lenses clean is a great habit to get into. If you do have any questions regarding how to clean or protect your lens, please let me know in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Now, use a soft bristled brush. Now, you're going to want to use a soft bristled brush and don't touch the bristles.